So wanted to welcome everybody to our Rise, Lead, and Learn for December. We have our host with us today, Corinna Carter, owner and CEO of CMS Mortgage. And before we get started with her part of the presentation, I wanted to introduce our Rise Recognition member today, and that is Stacy Flanagan. And just to remind everybody here on the group, at the beginning of each monthly meeting or event, we will have a RISE member give a brief 5-minute overview of who they are, what they're doing in the industry. Our goal is to get to know our RISE members so that we can understand our network and the tools that we have at our fingertips to make just really awesome connections. So that being said, Stacy, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think this is a great idea to introduce everybody. I've actually already reached out to Stacy via email on some appraisal questions that I had. So I think it's great to get to know what everybody does and what we would use them for, or lean on them for, or ask questions to. So thank you very much for the invitation to be able to do this. I'm
Absolutely.
with Angel Oak. I'm a senior account executive with Angel Oak Mortgage Solutions. I have been with Angel Oak since 2013. Prior to that, I was in what we used to call subprime with New Century until the meltdown in 2008. Took a little time off. I had a child. I have a 7-year-old boy who is extremely active in basketball and lacrosse. He is actually on 4 teams right now. So my evenings and weekends and days are super busy. And my daughter graduated from UCF, go Knights,
Go
in
Knights!
during COVID. So we got the virtual graduation for her 3 years ago. So it's been fun. It's been a whirlwind. What I want to point out as far as Angel Oak goes and what we do, what we specialize in, we are a non-QM mortgage lender. So anything you can't get done, Fannie Mae, conventionally, turn to me, look to me to see if it's something that we can do. We do bank statement loans for self-employed borrowers who either maybe write too much off or maybe haven't even filed their taxes. So they can't go the conventional route. We offer these alternative programs to help them get into their dream homes. We have non DSCR, which is called debt service coverage ratio. These are no income loans for investment properties. We do non-warrantable condos. Right now, we're seeing a huge rise. I don't know if any of you have seen this yet, but condo associations are increasing their deductibles because insurance is so expensive right now. So these condos think, okay, I'm going to help our people that live here. I'm going to help them save money by increasing their deductible. Well, they don't even realize that they're also hindering people from getting financing. So Fannie and Freddie and most other lenders are a 5% deductible. We go up to 10% now. So we do allow that 10% deductible, which I don't know any other lender that does that. Now that student loans have come back to having to pay on those, and these high interest rates on credit cards being in the 30% with Macy's, we started offering a second mortgage. So we can help you pay off those high credit cards, get out of that student loan debt once and for all, and do a CLTV up to 85 on our second mortgages. So those are just a few things that we actually brought out recently. And getting new programs recently also tells us that, hey, the future is definitely going to be stronger. We're coming out with new programs. We're not cutting back on programs. And to me, that's pretty inspiring and makes me definitely look forward to 2024 and increasing our volume back up to hopefully where it was pre-COVID.
Amazing. Sounds like you guys have a lot of really creative programs out there for borrowers. So, I mean, if you guys have an interest in any of the loan programs that Stacy touched on today, definitely reach out to her and she can help you over there at Angel Oak. I know we've worked with Angel Oak for a long time at NAN, and such a great partnership. We love the relationship that we have with the folks over there. So reach out, connect, make sure you guys connect with Stacy on social media, LinkedIn, follow her, and let's get those connections going. Thank you so much, Stacy. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, anything that you guys can't get done conventionally, give me a holler. Let me see if I can help you out and get it to the closing table for you.
There you go. 2024, here we come.
Jenny,
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
I just want to just do a shout out to Stacy and Angel Oak as well. They have been great supporters and sponsors of FAMP for many years. And just recently, they have signed on for the 2024 Showstopper sponsor, which is one of the title sponsors. So we want to thank you, Stacy, thank Angel Oak, the entire team for that. We really, really appreciate that and absolutely value our partnership.
We definitely do as well. And also being part of the RISE organization has been very inspiring and very good. And I appreciate all of that. And definitely love FAMP and will support you guys. Brooke?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. No stopping us in 2024, guys, right around the corner. All right. So that being said, we will turn it over to Corinna Carter. Again, she is our host of today's Lead and Learn, owner and CEO of CMS Mortgage Solutions. And Corinna, I'll turn it over to you.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me great?
Perfect.
All right.
Good morning.
Good. Happy Wednesday. Glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I have been in the mortgage business for 26 years. I can't believe it. It feels like I am 26, but 26 years and owning my own company for 18. So along this crazy journey we call the mortgage world, about 8 years ago, I started jotting down some notes about what I do, what I like to do, what I have, and what I've learned through my entrepreneurship as far as being a business owner, more importantly, as well as being a mortgage broker, and how I can help support others and be in a position to help them learn to navigate what position they want to do. So I'd like to share with you guys today the 18 things I have learned, which are the most important to me on how to run my business, but also how to navigate and lead and delegate with confidence. I feel like that's a lot of things that a lot of people in business right now. The most important thing I hear, so I've done about 300 meet and greets, whether they be virtual lunch and learns, interviews, webinars, operations, processing, loan officers, loan officer assistants. And the number one thing people are looking for in today's world is collaboration. You feel like just because of COVID and even where we were going in the virtual world before COVID, and then it fast forward us, people are looking not to be on an island themselves and want to make sure that they have the support they have, but also they still want to do their own thing. So how can we provide that support to them? So I really felt like leaning into a lot of the things I've learned in business can help as far as that goes and what that looks like. And I can share my journey with other people. So hopefully this helps you guys and you get something out of it. And I'll be glad to share anything that I do with you at any point in time. I'm an open book, so call me, get on my schedule, let's chat. I'd love to help you fast forward and grow your business in 2024 too as well. So number one thing that I do, which I just did this morning, being on the road for 5 days, what it does is kind of jot down. I carry a notebook with me everywhere I go, whether it be any type of project I do. I do have what do you call it? The other one where you write on it too, but it doesn't matter. I still have to carry a notebook with me. So even if I'm doing a rehab project, even if it's work related, anything else, I have a notebook with me. And if I lose that, I will freak out. So every Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, Or if I'm gone a long period of time, I will craft a new list of what that looks like. That helps me set my goals for that day, my goals for that week, and some things that I don't have to store up here all the time. And I can take them and put them down on paper, what that looks like. You know, as we age, it gets a little bit more difficult to remember things. So I do a lot of other things for organization, but mastering the art of organization, the number one thing I do is really putting together some defined lists, whether it be daily, weekly, quarterly, and what that looks like to also put that together for myself. So creating those lists, refining them every single week, and seeing what I've got accomplished, tackling them, crossing them out, and starting a new one 3 times a week at a minimum. That's what I do. Acknowledge and applaud. I don't think we do this enough with everybody. And I think this is a really big deal. And to make sure we're helping our teammates succeed in what it looks like, is acknowledge and applaud them. Give credit where credit's due. I think it's really paramount for now, especially if you're doing a lot alone or you're a mannequin in front of the screen like I am some weeks. I just feel like I said here, next one, next one, next one, what it looks like. So we share our goals, our triumphs, our team. We highlight people. We also make sure that we know who's gone above and beyond and what they did. So you want to make sure, even with your family members, it's very important not to leave your family out and make sure that they know that they are appreciated, even if it's small stuff that they do. I mean, to be on here, my mom got a new car last night. She wrecked a car a month ago. That's a whole nother chat room for this. But I had one of my teammates follow my mom to the rent-a-car place to take it back so I could be here. So I thank them all the time to make sure too, is that I can do something for them and they can do something for me in return too, but that we're acknowledging anything that they do for us, especially out of the scope of work, especially in helping with family members or it being family, which will lead into cherish your team. Treating employees is non-negotiable for me. Pretty much the please and thank yous. I know they get tired of it, but at the same time, I mean it every time I say it. When they walk out the door, please come back tomorrow. I want you here. What can I do to help you? So being supportive and cherishing your team is important. We go so fast these days that this time goes by so quickly. And do you know if your teammate had a good day or had a rough day, where you can kind of patch that up with something that you can share and you can cherish with them and give them some kudos. So cherish your team goes along with that as well. Elevate customer service. This is a huge one for me. So I'll share with you guys a book that kind of changed my perspective of thinking. We've been working on this for the past 5 years, but my teammates get tired of me saying it too, but Unreasonable Hospitality. It's probably one of the #1 books I've read the past 2 years, changed my perspective on things that I've been thinking about and how I do business. And it really helps me think how we can elevate our customer service to the next level. Exceptional customer service is our daily anthem. We make it about the experience, not just about the transaction. And believe it or not, to people, whether it be loan officers, whether it to be the customer service is different to everybody. So I challenge you to get the book Unreasonable Hospitality, read it, and really see what you get out of it. For me, I saw a daily grind in what we're doing and how fast we go and how much we need to elevate our customer service even more. And we've worked on it really hard. It's one of our top priorities here at CMS, but really going to that next level. So how can you elevate that customer service? What does that look like for you and your team? Be the business you want to see. So that leads me into the customer service part. After that is like, what do you want to see from the outside looking in? Be the business you want to see. Don't get lost in the crowd of competition. I just shared, I'm a master coach for 2020 Vision for Success coaching. I coach people across the country. And one of the odd things I shared with everybody was that I'm a little bit more competitive at my age and at my stage where I'm at right now than I think I've ever been in my life. But I also can't get lost in what that looks like. And I can't compare myself to somebody else because we all look different. But what do you want to look like on the outside looking in? And what do you want people? What is that inspiration and what does that impression look like that you want to be? So really think about how can you work on that and what does that look like to other people? And for me, that makes a difference looking outside in and what our company looks like. And it starts with looking like a team, looking like we all work together, which we do, elevating that customer service. And which also brings me to embrace the uniqueness. Each member of my team has something that they bring to the table. We all have a hobby. We all have something that we like doing different besides mortgages. Mortgages is a way of life for us to a degree, 26 years in for me and my family, but it may not be for everybody. And also there's other parts of your life that you want to shine. So what are those extraordinary things that you love to do? And what does that look like for everybody else? For me, it's become a little bit more of teaching, coaching, and traveling and what that looks like on the outside looking in, but and embrace the uniqueness. And what does that look like? Does it tie into some of your branding? Does it tie into some of your customer service? Or does it just tie into what you want to look like on the outside looking in? For businesses and business owners, whether you be a single business owner and you run your business yourself, or whether you run a team of 100 or 200, avoid overhiring. I say this with grace because I feel like right now I'm a little bit opposite of this, is we have a little bit more than what we need, but at the same time, we're keeping what we have for future. I'll go into that a little bit more in a minute, but don't overhire. Striking a balance with your payroll is critical. Overhiring leads to high costs. Train and scale up before you're overwhelmed. So I'm a little bit more in this mode of training and scaling up before we get overwhelmed with 2024. As we were saying right before the call, is like, can we just get to 2024 already? Everybody's really anticipating what that looks like. Is it going to be different than 2023? It has to be because it's 2024. But at the same time, this is a big thing. You'll see this a lot in the mortgage industry for 2024. There will be a few little people probably a little overworked because people are going to be afraid to avoid overhiring. Foster positivity and collaboration. As I stated, doing 300 meet and greets, what people are looking for is, especially the 2 years that we've been on right now, the layoffs, the industry cuts, the less people in our business. And there's so many great people out there looking for work who really have some great skill sets to bring to the table. But foster positivity, the collaboration efforts. Don't be afraid to be in a room with other peers that do the same thing you do. You can help each other. And that is something that I really struggle with because I do that with everybody. And I believe it's very hard for me when I recognize that someone never really had that availability or never was taught that. And I'm like, look, you get in the same room with the same people that do the same thing, whether they're your competition or what, you can share ideas and you can also learn from them. So fostering collaboration, feeding your team with nourishment, positivity, growth opportunities, and of course, appraise. Add fun to the mix. I struggle with this one. So I keep this one at the forefront because we do a lot of coaching calls. We do a lot of learning here at CMS Mortgage. And we're doing actually a meet and greet in 2024. I just shared, and it's going to be virtual. We're going to try and add a whole lot of fun to it. And I'm going to coin it right here so you guys can hear first. And I know I have a teammate on here, but we are holding our first, but we've had 3 or 4, but we are changing the name of it to CMS Camp for the for the reason of adding a little bit more fun to it, because we are cool ass mortgage people. So we are changing it to CMS Camp every year. So make sure that we share a little bit more of positivity, a little bit more fun, because Karina can be a little bit too business. So, and we have some exciting guest speakers that are coming to our camp this year. So, so add fun to the mix. See what you can do there. Give back. We do a lot each year with this, and it becomes relevant every year on what we can do. Sometimes we feel like we can't do it depending, because we think it's monetary, it's money, but what can you do to give back to the community? So we do Habitat for Humanity usually every year. Christmas time, we do scarves, we do socks, we do blankets. Even when I moved, I gave pretty much 2 U-Hauls to a HERS shelter, instead of really figuring out how I was going to sell it on Facebook. You know, so figuring out what that looks like to you. Is it your time? For me, I'm on a couple associations nationwide. I'm on a couple boards. I'm on advisory councils. So even though that's giving back, it's giving back into our community, but then I also give back into the local community. I do a lot with the high schools, like the DECA, the marketing programs, the technical schools. We have a marketing intern at the end of this month, the first of the month. I was thinking out loud when it is, that I'm hosting for school as a senior. I did 2 seniors this year hosting. So I do about 3 to 4 weeks a year. I get a free intern to help us with our business and what it looks like working with the high schools. So thinking about how you can give back and what are the cool things that you can share about your business with other people too as well. So it doesn't have to necessarily be a monetary value. Stay innovative. So complacency is the enemy of business, which I agree. And gosh, this is the hardest part for our industry now because of the lack of inventory and the higher rates, but we have got to stay hungry. What does it look like to keep us out there motivated to get up every single day and come to work? So very important to stay innovative. My COO is my son. He's 31. So he is the tech and the wizard behind the curtain. So I am forced to stay a little bit more innovative than some, and I am forced to learn a little bit more on my age group, I feel like, than some. So whatever you can do to learn something a little different to keep you innovative, I absolutely would advise. It keeps your mind sharp too as well. Focus on what matters, prioritize your core goals, and work relentlessly towards them. So this is where also my notebook comes in handy for me. I write out my goals. I have always had weekly, quarterly, and yearly goals. And I could step back last year and look at really crazy stats of what I feel like we've worked on that I feel like some people kind of do like a 4 or 5 year goal. And then I look and say, gosh, we accomplished this all last year. So it really makes you feel good to work towards them and also to accomplish some of them. Then also knows what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. What could you be really focusing more on your efforts? So really focus on what matters to you and what's going to set you apart. Calculate your ROI. So I just mastermind with a few of the best, and we were talking about numbers. There's a lot of people that don't know your numbers, doesn't know what it looks like for you, really what type of business you want to do, what it brings in, but really calculating your ROI. It could be a rental properties that you own. It could a little bit be about your marketing efforts, but invest more in a high return as far as what that looks like and cut those that drain your resources, but really look at what your ROI is going to be. Any questions so far? You're doing good on time? You're good on time?
We are doing great on time. I do have a question for you, Corinna.
Sure.
The information you're sharing is amazing. As a business owner myself, I relate to a lot of what you're saying, and the advice is just critical, especially in the world that we live in today. One of the things I wanted to ask you about is you know, getting involved in associations, giving back to the community, it's a selfless act. I think a lot of us, especially women, we gravitate towards people that are motivated by those selfless acts, right? And I think one of the biggest challenges we have as women is finding the time. I know many of us want to get involved and want to do more and want to participate. And I know that it opens up so many doors when you get involved at that level. But how do you find the time? I mean, that is a time management thing. And I think that's what scares a lot of women from, you know, making that commitment, so to speak, because who knows what's going to be required. So what kind of advice would you give to women who are thinking about getting more involved in either their community or industry associations, things like that?
I say find one or two that you can commit to that aren't a time suck. And I say that nicely because there are some that can be in position where you feel like it's just over and over the same thing. What are you getting out of? Are you learning? Are you collaborating? Does it take something off your schedule that you should be doing? But at the same time, make sure that it's not something that's just taking up time on your schedule that you're actually going to want to participate and be involved in. And block out some time as far as that's maybe another segment of your day that you didn't realize you had, or move one to the other. So my time in the morning for me is valuable from 7 to 9 in the morning and from 7 to 9 at night. That's like my clarity time. Like if I really try and look at my numbers from 7 to 9 at night, they look different from 7 to 9 in the morning. So also with my participation, that's part of the associations and the things that I do. I look at what time of the days and what time of the months that they're going to meet, that I feel like that's a clarity moment for me that I can actually participate and actually bring some value to as well. So I say find one that you enjoy being in, that you feel like you're going to get value out of, but also one that's not going to be a time suck for you, that you feel like you're just there, that you're actually listening. So I love what you guys are bringing here. The learning part of it, the leading part of it, really being in a position to make sure that you're bringing value, because of the fact you can get on an association meeting or you can get in with a group and it's just talk, talk, talk. So bringing that value as far as what that looks like and making sure you're getting something out of it. So short and long of that question is move something around that maybe be a different time suck for you, that you want to try a couple and see what that looks like. Keep that commitment for a few months and see what value you're getting out of it. And does it bring to other opportunities? Because almost everyone I've been involved in opens an opportunity door for me. So don't discount it. It definitely can open doors and be opportunities for you.
Great advice. Thank you. I like also just pick one or two. You don't have to join everything that or participate in everything that flies across your inbox or, you know, a referral. So pick one or two, start getting involved, take some action. And time blocking is such great advice as well. I talk about that with my team all the time. Block out the time. This is your time to get things done. And, you know, stick with those commitments that you've made so that you can see true results. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that brings us to 14, dare to be bold. So is that part of being bold? You know, really getting involved in something you want to have, kind of be quiet in the background and then, you know, speak your voice after that. But don't fear trying and failing too. Success often follows by those who dare. Take chances, embrace risk, and go all in. We were talking about this the other day, and like what is different between now and when we were really hungry. When you got in the business first and you cold called 500 people, now to come into the office and think about cold calling 500 people scares the crap out of somebody, or they just freak out. But yet there was one time where you really dared to be bold and you were just like, it didn't matter. The same as me. I feel like I rode every roller coaster at 12. Will I get on every roller coaster right now, 55? Heck no. But so I choose and pick wisely, like what I'm going to be bold and risk on, right? But at the same time, they do change as we age, or what that looks like. So also think about that. What's bold to you? Bold to you may be different than somebody else. So, you know, see what that looks like. So, you know, and try something different. For me, this is an important one. It's one I live by daily, is never stop learning. So I have in our podcast room, it's always be learning. One of my slogans is always be learning, always be open to the opportunity. Don't feel like going to meet and greets, going to conferences and going to this could be the same old thing. Yeah, 70% of it may be the same old thing, but I guarantee there's going to be something every time I go to an event or do something that's new about learning or read or listen to a new book. I get something out of it, and I kind of plug it into something like this and write it down, and I take it with me to those next steps of my next quarter and thinking, and how does that change my business? So never stop learning. Every event brings new insight, new friends, new horizons. It opens the door. There's opportunities at every part of what we do. 16, remain flexible. So this one becomes more challenging as I get older too, because of being flexible. You know what you like, you know what you don't like, and you stick to the things that feel good to you, taste good to you, and that you enjoy doing. But there does come a time where you have to have a plan that you're willing to adapt or even discard what doesn't feel right. And I think that makes a difference in just really the back of your mind, just keeping an open mind, being a little bit more flexible about how you can possibly modify things. Someone gives you suggestions, take feedback, take honest feedback, constructive feedback, and what that looks like. Because again, being flexible means you're more open to more opportunities that could come your way instead of just being a tunnel vision and not being really sure what that looks like. So I think of myself as being more of an open book. And I think that has created a little different opportunities than some, because I'm willing to take a little risk, willing to be a little bit more flexible. But as I age, I do know that becomes one of my more challenging things that I need to do and stay on top of. So I keep telling myself in the back of my mind, is this something that I need to be a little bit more flexible on? And what's the opportunity that could gain from me being more flexible? So within which leads me into kind of the next step is personal and professional growth. You can never stop this. I feel like there's a lot of people who are pretty much stagnant and they're okay with where they are. And I say that's great. In coaching, I say you have to make that decision to be okay with you first. You got to be okay with this. But if you're going to be a complainer or negative Nancy, then you have to change that in what you're doing for those expectations to change on the other side. So both professional and personal is vital to living life to the fullest, what it looks like and how you're going to grow. Invest in coaching, invest in learning, invest in shattering. I mean, the limited benefits and that will unlock potential growth for you just on something. Just for me, we've been working on our infrastructure for 5 years. We're really in a great, stable position for a new market coming our way. And we feel like there's some things that we've adapted that are definitely beneficial to us. But part of my personal growth is listening to audiobooks. And again, that changes every quarter of I've adopted something that comes from that to help me with my team. And they're like, where'd you get this? Where'd you get that? And most of the time it's going to come from something that I did based on a professional development series I did, or a book, or a coaching group, or one of my peers, or a new loan officer who's never been in the business just taught me something yesterday. So again, never discount the personal and professional growth in what you're doing. There is no way we all know everything, no matter how long we've been in business. There is someone who can help us on that level. Embrace resilience and perseverance. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable. That's the only way we learn. To fail, we succeed. The ability to bounce back and forge ahead, that defines true success. Resilience means learning from experiences, refining strategies, and staying open to new ideas. So even in my notebook, I cross things out, I add things, change this, do this. What can we do? How can we add to it? And we kind of embrace that change, embrace that resilience in what it looks like, but it also comes with the challenges. So with that, we have to make a decision on how we're going to move forward, how quickly we're going to move forward, what does it look like, how does it feel to us? Again, do we go back to that? It feels good, it feels bad, I'm just not going to do it because it doesn't feel good. But that's part of redefining our strategies and what that looks like. And I think that's going to help everybody in 2024 because we're going to have a little bit of different perseverance and resilience as far as what it looks like to strategize a little differently on our business. Business is still not going to come simple to us. It's not going to come easy to us. And we're going to have to dive in and figure out what really matters to us and really persevere going forward and make sure that we're capturing the opportunities, but not missing them as well, but making sure we're not doing something that's going to time suck us as well. So for me, this will mark year 19 owning my business, 2024, which I think is the great year for embrace change in business, right? What does that look like for all of us? Navigate the rhythms of innovation. So for me, I'm hoping we're singing all of 2024, a different tune, and we are really have different rhythms that we're going to go by. Changes are ever evolving marketplace. I mean, only way we can actually take a chance is to actually make some changes in our life and choose to be a little different. Setting the stage of innovation for us in 2024, I really think it's going to set 2025 and 2026 as different. We and myself and the company are going to look totally different in 2026 than we did in 2022. But it comes from what we did in 2023 and 2024. But so embracing change, when you stretch that rubber band, I say there's a limit people go, there's a limit people do, and they feel it when you stretch that rubber band and what that looks like, especially in change, especially in growth. And for us, embracing that, allowing yourself to strategize differently, transforming obstacles into opportunities with finesse. 2024 will be that year of adaptability in a different way for people. So encourage yourself to have guidance, to have choice, to navigate differently, to have different rhythms that you have, different avenues for your business, and to collaborate on a different level than probably you ever have. We are in a different world. The social media world is really changing us and how we feel connected in a way. I met people this weekend that knew so much about me that I've never met them before in my life. So it does change who and what we do on a daily basis. But at the same time, we have to keep up with the times and what that looks like. So it may not be full force going in with all social media. It may be a little bit more on social media. It may be a little bit more on face to face. For me, 2024 and 2025 is probably going to get a little bit more face to face time with my team, with my peers, with my association. And it's going to take me getting from being a mannequin in 2023 out of my comfort zone to get on a plane, to get in a car, to go to coffee, to go to dinner, to get out there and do things. I just came off a 5-day trip and we're having lunch today with some of our team members. And I'm like, oh, I got so much to do. I could just sit in front of my computer, but that's part of the change. I am going to, and I don't want to miss it, but you always feel that work behind you and what it looks like. So you're always going to stick, I need to do this and I need to do this. And most of the time we sit there and say, it will still be in our inbox. It will still be there when we get back and it can still be done today, Karina. So say, okay, let's go do this. So embrace change in business, navigate the rhythms of innovation. That's my 2024. So I hope you ladies got some things out of today and what it looks like as far as the 19 things I've learned how to run my business, do business, and collaborate with other business owners. It really helps me stay on task. It helps me keep things together mentally and physically. And I randomly every year go back to these things and I'll do posts on them to make them forefront for me, to stay in front of me too, as well, that I don't lose sight of what are like these. Even though we may have 3 or 4 core values in the company, these are like core values to Karina. These are my way of doing business. These are things that I think are the most important thing to me, and how I kind of my makeup is and what that looks like, what my anchor is. So I'm glad to share them with you. I'm here if you guys ever have any questions, anything that maybe come up in your business life, your personal life. I'd love to be a resource for you and help guide you through. And I know that you guys can share things with me and guide me through my life's journey too as well. So thank you for having me, Tony. Any questions?
Thank you, Karina.
Great.
Yeah.
Good.
I have another one for you because you just dropped so many awesome nuggets. So you mentioned one of your topics was focus on what matters. There is so much noise in our industry, especially when the market takes a turn, an unfavorable turn, right? Every day we open up our inbox or we get on a call and we're in a recession. This lender's closing down or is closing a channel, or a competitor's getting acquired, or, the market's come to a grinding halt. And it's like all of this noise that just comes through. And one of the things that keeps me up at night as a business owner is, keeping my team focused on the mission. Let the noise just be the noise and fall by the wayside. We have a mission. We can't control what's happening in the market, but we can control how we manage our business and continue to stick with the mission to grow and succeed in any market. Doesn't matter what's happening externally. So what is your advice there for just focusing on what matters and letting the noise go?
That's one reason we renamed, we do usually we'll do a yearly event, or we'll do something to get together for the team, and we'll do learning activities. We'll tell what's new, what we're adapting for next year, what it looks like. And that's one thing we changed, and we said camp, because camp was kind of like going back to the basics. Camp reminds you of something that makes you feel good and what it looks like, to kind of get rid of some of that noise, right?
Yeah.
If we can teach you how to camp all year round, which camp to us is cool ass mortgage people, if we could teach you how to do that all year round to get rid of some of that noise, what does that look like for your team? And how do you navigate that? So for us, it's just like doing something a little different out of the norm that maybe somebody else may not provide for their team. So providing that extra service. So we think about in the mortgage industry, we provide a level of service to the customer. But for us at CMS as well too, for leadership, it's providing that level of service agreement for our loan officers, for our team members, and then our team members to provide it back to each other. So I feel like that also gets rid of some of the noise, because then people buy in. They're part of the team. They want to join in. They want to be part, because they hear that good noise versus this. I say all the time, one of the things that I did wrong as a mother was I didn't let my kids see me struggle a lot, but I just did that with our team too the past 2 years. There was not one day our team came in, or our operations team came in and really saw us struggle or figure out what it was going to look like. So if I'm first in, last out, and I'm out there hustling my dupa off every single day, I expect them to do the same thing too. But in return, I'm doing it for all of us. They're going to do it for each other. It's like that coach mentality, right? You have the individual coach or you have the team coach. So my son had a great coach in high school, but he was really a great individual coach. The team coach was really in the teammates because they wanted to perform for each other. They didn't want to perform for that coach, if that makes sense. So if you can navigate, figure out what that looks like for your team, then you can really get rid of some of that noise. Anyways, that's what we did.
Yeah.
I hope that,
No,
I hope
that's
that
great.
helps you some.
No, that's great. And, just keep communicating the mission over and over,
Yes.
because that will the noise is going to continue, so you got to get in front of it, you know? So I think that's brilliant. And I love the CAMP acronym, by the way. That is very fun.
We like that a lot.
Very fun. And speaking of never stop learning, I ordered the Unreasonable Hospitality book while we were on the call today. So thank you for that. I'm always looking for those additional nuggets to read before I go to bed at night. So thank you. Did anybody else have any questions for Corinna?
I do. I have a quick question.
Hey.
Corinna, when I was at the FAMP event in August, I met Kim Hasty. Hi, Kim. And she told me like your really inspiring story about like starting your own business. Like, can you give us the lowdown on that? Because I think that's really meaningful and impactful as well, if you don't mind.
So I don't know what story Kim told you, but
I was about to say, she's going, oh goodness, what did she say?
but so I'll give you kind of two real short. So I got into the mortgage business, period. Full-fledged true story, because I got fired from my job because I chose my family first. So for a workaholic and for what I do, single mom of two, my nephew got cancer and I chose to walk out on my job. And my boss said, if you walk out, never come back. And it was the first year I made 50 grand in 1997, 96, 97. And a few weeks later, got into the mortgage business being a Girl Friday. But opening my own company or opening or doing something was always a dream of mine. So true story, background, 12-year-old runaway, institutionalized at 14, pregnant at 15, high school graduate with a 2-year-old and 2 jobs in my own apartment, the only senior in high school. I was bound to be independent at some point. What did that look like to me? Whether it be managing a team, whether it be managing someone else's company, what it was, got into the mortgage business and said, hey, I can do this. And in the 2003, 4, and 5 era, everybody was doing things all kind of crazy, wild, wild west. And I didn't want to join a company that I had to beg people to take my pre-approvals because we had 5 other loan officers out there that didn't do things my way. So I just wanted to kind of put something together that I felt like people could follow and be innovative with. And also have that vision of something that they could do on their own too, but underneath us.
Oh, it was good. It was exhausting, but it was good.
Oh, let's hear somebody.
One way to go. We forget that Denver's not that close.
We got somebody.
I know, right?
It's a lot of travel, you know, like to be flight.
There we go.
Okay. But in that, so I'm not sure what Kim shared with you on that level, but it's kind of my short background of who I am, where I am, and why I got to, kind of want to do my own thing a little bit. I don't know if that answered your question, Christy.
Yeah, it did. I didn't know all those details, but the part about you leaving, and choosing your family and to do it on your own is the part that Kim had shared, which I think is cool. The rest was very cool as well. But yeah, thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hi, Corinna. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
So I caught when you said you didn't let your staff or even your children see you struggle.
Yeah.
And that really resonated with me because I get so many direct messages from people that you would not believe that are struggling now in the industry. And you don't want to put them on blast, but in the same token, you're like, it's okay if you don't know. If I don't know that you don't know, how will you ever improve? So just awesome. I love reading your posts. I do read them often. I would really love you as someone with that type of influence to just encourage people to to admit, to show your struggle. Because how will we learn if we don't? No one came through here, walking on marshmallows. I would love to walk on marshmallows.
I
I
would
like
I
that.
would love to walk on marshmallows too. And I think like as we grow our team and our team started changing what we had to do to kind of survive 2023, they're like, holy crap, she is struggling. She's working her dupe off. What is she doing? So I think it changes too. It changes what people think of you. It changes your perspective. And unfortunately, I've been always that person who, oh, they said, kind of always did the same thing or is going to be okay. And you become, as us ladies, we become the rock for our family. We navigate these moments in life that seem easy, are really hard to other people, but maybe seem easy to us. And it's okay for us to let people know this hasn't been easy. This isn't easy. But that is one of my faults, is to take things on my shoulder and not let people see me struggle as much, but especially raising my kids. I think they've really thought you could grow up and work at Hardee's and buy a $300,000 house and own a business, right? And now they know that's different because they're grown. But at the same time, I think we shelter ourselves as well from the business world. But there are a lot of people out there in the world who are struggling, and it's okay. And thank you so much for reading my posts. I do get comments all the time, and even when I posted a true story, I posted my admittance record for my institution, and a broker had commented, "Thank you so much. I'm navigating some struggles with my teenager right now, and it's good to know that they may come out the other side to be someone like you." And it's a very compliment to me, and to know that I didn't fit in anywhere. I fit in everywhere, but didn't really fit in anywhere. And for that, it was a very mental struggle for me growing up and what that looked like. So navigated life a little differently than and put my family through a lot of change and a lot of issues when I was younger. So I think for a lot of people, it's just showing them who you are, what you do, and that you do struggle. But at the same time, it's okay. Like, it's not drama. There's a difference between teaching people, learning, and navigating life than creating drama, right? I firmly believe if you feed it, it will grow. So you don't feed it, but you just really share people what you can do and what the solution is and how you've tackled it. But thank you so much.
So good.
Love that. Love that. So inspiring. I tell you what, I love hearing all the different backgrounds, especially yours, Karina. It does shed a lot of light on who you are and where you've come from and how you got to the place that you are. And so we so appreciate you sharing these tips with us that you've learned over the last 18 years as an entrepreneur in our industry. The next slide has information. Make sure you guys connect with Karina and with Stacy Flanagan if you haven't already. Get on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, wherever these women are. Connect, send an email out if you have any questions, or you just want to chat. I'm sure they would love to hear from you. And for those of you who are not RISE members, if you would like to be a RISE member, you can visit us at ourfamp.org/RISE. There is a link to register as a member. We have meetings every month. Every other month is a lead and learn like this, where our RISE members can invite their favorite guests to join us and learn something, get inspired. We are all about the personal and professional growth topic that Karina brought up today. That's why we exist here at RISE. So we would love to have you join. We also have a RISE regional in-person event coming up in April of 2024, and we will be at the FAMP annual convention and trade show in August of 2024 with a whole track dedicated to RISE Women in Mortgage. So we hope to see everybody there. Please make sure to reach out. Also, this will be recorded and posted on our webpage at our famp.org/RISE. And everybody on the call today will get an email with a deliverable. We've created a one-pager that has all of these wonderful pieces of advice that Karina shared with us today. So you can keep that and put it right on your corkboard in front of your computer and take a look at that as inspiration every day as you move forward and we end the year strong. Did anybody else have any questions before we let you go? Linda, did you want to add anything today?
The only thing that well, first of all, it was amazing. Thank you so much, Karina.
Thank you for having me.
But one of the things that's in RISE's mission statement and vision is we're using the term multi-generational. And when you said stay innovative, I wrote that down and equals multi-generational, because I think that is really the definition, at least one of the definitions, and a great part of our mission statement here at RISE. So thank you so much. It was so great.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored to be here. And thank you, Kim, for pushing me to get out of my comfort zone again.
That's what
It
teammates
doesn't
are
take a
for,
whole
right?
lot.
That's right. Exactly. That's exactly it.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Karina. Thank you, Stacy Flanagan. Everybody have a wonderful day today. We
Thank
Have a
will
you.
great
see you in
weekend.
January.
Holidays. Yeah.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.